Happy Tuesday evening to everybody. For me, it's late. For Raj, not so much. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday evening. As I straighten my camera out here a little bit. Um, yeah, there's quite a bit of news, Raj. I didn't think there would be this much news on a Tuesday in May, but we have the second day of OTAs going on. We've had some drama about quarterbacks. We had Raj attend a softball game of 49er players that I want to hear about. Because I'm jealous because I live all the way here in Rochester, New York, which is really, really far away from everything that's going on the West Coast. So, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I know it's a little bit later for you, so we'll try to keep this as smooth
Oh,
as
it's
possible.
I could, dude. I took a nap today because I knew I was
Oh,
going to be streaming tonight, so I should be all right.
oh, and you're not back
Um,
to. Uh,
yeah, I'm not back to work till next Monday, so I'll be okay.
got it, got it. Yeah,
Uh,
good though.
yeah, man, we got some new. Yeah, it's good to go back to work, and it's good to have some 49er news to talk about. We have the OTAs second day. Some quarterback talk. Kyle Shanahan talked to the media. Brock Purdy talked to the media. Trey Lance talked to the media. Where do you want to start? What's kind of what is your most important takeaway so far from the first or second day as far
So
as
yeah,
the news?
second day. The big news is the games have begun. Trey Lance, Sam Darnold, they're back. They're rolling. They're going out at competition. We're here. Trey Lance, everything he's worked on this offseason with Patrick Mahomes and his quarterback coach, it's there. We saw the new, throwing mechanics. Everybody's going crazy about. We saw Sam Darnold get his first action in front of a camera for the 49er fans. Sam Darnold out there in OTAs. It was, a sight to be held with those two guys going at it back and forth. Like you said, they met with the media. They talked about it. It seems like they're all cool. They know that, hey, at the end of the day, they're all on the same team. They're all going to be given an opportunity. And then the other news was that Kyle Shanahan said that next week, Brock Purdy is indeed on schedule and he will be starting to throw football next week. That's huge news.
That's
Um,
humongous news.
that's big. Obviously, he didn't want any setbacks, and he hasn't had any. He's rehabbing, and he's recovering very quickly. I mean, they said the timetable 6 months, and Kyle Shanahan said a few things. He says only God knows when Brock will be back, but he said he does expect him, hopefully, optimistically, to be back by week one. So, Kyle's hoping for a full recovery by week one, and again, it's not a guarantee, but they're optimistic, and with everything how it's going now, that right now remains the goal. But at the end of the day, right now, Trey Lance has a golden opportunity, and he looked. Obviously, there's no pass rush. You're throwing against air. It's you can't sit here and be like, oh my God, Trey Lance is going to be Patrick Mahomes. You can't make that assumption today on one, a few videos of OTAs and what the media says. But he does look like he's hungry. He looks good out there, and he looks happy. And he said today, I finally am having fun out there.
It's
That is a
very
key.
important.
Yeah.
I wanna touch on something before we get going a lot. My title for this stream and the bar and the banner that's at the bottom. I wanted to preface it why I put it, give you a understanding of why Brock Purdy isn't the next great 49ers quarterback. There's a lot that goes into that statement, and it's
Mm.
not a knock. It's just, I'll put it like this: we cannot fall into the trap that we fell into in 2017 with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm, mm.
We can't be prisoners of the moment. And that's where the title came from. It doesn't mean that he can't be the next great QB. It's that to anoint him so quickly, so early, when Trey really hasn't gotten that full opportunity, is foolhardy. It's foolhardy on both counts. It's foolhardy on one side to say that someone's a bust after 4 games played, just like it's foolhardy to say that someone has arrived after 8 games played. Uh, because I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. So, Charles Denny, I'm glad you have a strong opinion, but we'll definitely like get into that a lot more deeper. How's it going, Laura Cat? Thank you very much for joining through. Kind of a quiet chat so far. Not many people in here. 49ers Throwback was in here earlier. Thank you very much. Um, I was listening to the quarterbacks talk today, and then I'm watching what things are being said on Twitter about. Uh, this is when you gotta. just take a breather and step back when you go through Twitter over the course of days and weeks was that quarterback Sam Darnold doesn't know the playbook, and he's learning the playbook. There are people out there saying that he's already learned the playbook. A lot of misinformation, man. A lot of misinformation. So there's me and Raj talked off stream a frustrating story about Sam Darnold. We'll get into it in a second, but it's just, man, there's this. I don't know, man. It's clout chasing, Raj. It's who's gonna scoop who. The offseason is the best and the worst of times for 49er fans and just fans in general, because there's so much, just like everybody's trying for the headline that maybe eventually, hopefully, might actually come true down the line. They could say, see, I called this, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And sure enough, with the quarterback situation, we're right on line with that. You said there was a lot made about the delivery of Trey Lance. There's been a lot of people that saying it looks more compact. I personally am not there. I haven't been there. It's hard to tell from just a couple throws that we see. I know that they were doing a little bit of install today, some basic install from what Kyle was saying, and you try to put guys in game-like situations and see how they adjust, how they play, how quickly they get things out, in the huddle, and how they do it on the field. What was your take on the talk that he's got a new and renewed, cleaner, compact delivery?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it's not like a grand change. He's not going to like just, oh my God, dramatically become this new, thrower of the football. But there were a few little things, like you said, a little bit more compact. It did look smooth. The delivery was smooth. But again, it's hard to really say in short amount of videos. We weren't there, to see 100 throws or whatever the case is. But in a small dosage, yeah, maybe it did look a little bit cleaned up. But again, this is the first time we've really got to see him. Obviously, his arm's fresh. How's it going to be later in training camp with more throws? So I don't make too much of it, but it did look like to me, the biggest thing, he just looked very energetic. He looked like he had a pep in his step. He just looked like he was, like he said, he was having fun out there. He looked happy to be out there. I think after everything this offseason, it would have been easy for him to be in a dark place. I mean, all the media, all the rumors, all the nonsense, and he was out there just happy. And what did he say? He says, look, man, all the offseason rumors, I never once thought to be traded. This is the place I want to be. Like, for him to have that mentality still is like, wow, with everybody talking trash about him and this and that, he don't care, man. He just lets it roll, and he's out there doing his thing. So he looked good. He looked happy. I think that's the biggest takeaway, I think, in his presence out there. Again, it's hard to really say that did he improve that much on his throw. We won't know until the live bullets fly. Pass rush is coming. He's going to look good because there's no pass rush. There's no pads. He's out there throwing football with shorts on. He's going to look great, man. He's Trey Lance. Sam Darnold, too. And I want to kind of go back to the whole Sam Darnold thing, because you're right. There's a lot of misinformation. People said, like Ian Rappaport, he's going to be day one starter. Oh, my God, NFL Network. Oh, they're wanting to push for Sam Darnold. And all this shit comes out there. It's just for off season. Again, it's people need videos. They need clout. They need stories. They need, they got to fill the off season. It's a lot of filler. You just got to come up with stories. And then today, we find out he hasn't even learned the whole playbook. So you got all these people that tell you all this stuff in the offseason. It's the gospel. I know. It's because you know what it is? They want to be the ones that predicted. They want to get it right, because if they get it right, they're going to be like, see, I told you so. Ha ha. I always know. I know ball knowledge. I know football. I'm the man. I get it. I know more than the average bear. So that's where the offseason kind of rambles out, and people just say what they got to say, and they hope that they're right. They throw a dart on the board, and they're hoping that it sticks, right? So, again, with Sam Darnold saying that he's still coming along and learning, that's the polar opposite of what a lot of people are saying, which, he's got a strong command of this offense, and he's going to be out there and just show that he's this veteran that knows how to control an offense. He's still learning, man. There's no slight to Sam. I think he came out there, again, no pads, you're throwing against air. His passes looked fine, but we won't know until there's pass rush. He's playing against defense. Both of those guys just looked like they were ready to compete today, and that's what it is. And they both said that today. And then again, Brock Purdy, where is he going to be in terms of his recovery when he starts throwing? Is his arm going to be tired? Is he going to have the same velocity? Is he going to get swollen up? We don't even know where Brock's going to be in 2-3 weeks, because he's just going to start throwing again next week. That's a whole nother recovery in itself, In terms of rehab, you've been going through rehab. I work in rehab. Like,
you get sore after you do your rehab.
And it's a whole
You
different.
got to get iced. Sometimes I got to take some ibuprofen or put some heat on it to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Rehab isn't just, oh, I'm going to start throwing and then in 3 weeks, 6 weeks, I'm ready to go. No, you'll have some fatigue. You'll have some soreness. It'll tighten up to the point where you think something's wrong when really, like I've been having, I know nobody cares about my knee, but what I've been having is an issue with tightness in the joint. The stability, the structure of the knee's great, but anytime I sit for a long period of time, my knee stiffens up like I'm 95 years old. So it's like it's one of those things. I think over time it'll go away, just like I think if he has soreness. But there's so much time. I wanna hit on real quick my buddy Charles. I have 2 gaming buddies. One of them is now a truck driver, so he's in Oklahoma right now. He became a truck driver, and he's on the road. So he's saying hi from the road through a friend of mine. So I just want to say what's up to both those guys. Bring Tom Ocean in the house. He says, "Yo, Aaron and Raj." Dano Lash says Purdy is the answer at QB. We'll see. I want to touch before we kind of go to the Trey Lance versus Brock Purdy debate, because it's been all over Twitter. I'm not trying to piggyback or steal other people's thunder, but it's definitely something that I have an opinion on, and I want to talk about it. It's not a people say that I kind of skate the middle, like I'm kind of like on the fence when it comes to opinions, because I'm 43 years old and I've seen a lot of football and I've seen a lot of things. I can't just put a prediction out there that someone's going to be something and then think like it's for sure. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know. Someone could get into a car accident tomorrow and break a leg and then they're not going to play. We don't know. We don't know. The one thing that really bothered me, and I made you roll your eyes when off stream. I want to touch on it, and it's not even. I don't even think it's part of my topics over here. It's probably not. Actually, it is. Greg Papa love fest for Sam Darnold. What is Greg Papa smoking, man? I am not a big Greg Papa fan. I do not like his commentary. I don't like Tim Ryan's commentary. Not a fan of either of them. I know that's sacrilegious to 49er fans. But this dude straight up gave all his praise to Sam Darnold, completely glossed over Trey Lance. Completely. What you saw that, what's your take on it? Is he smoking the hippie lettuce while he was giving his take? He looked pretty tired when he was talking.
Yeah, I think he's just getting paid a lot of money. I think the direct deposit hits, and when the boss is paying you, you can say what you got to say. Because again, I think he's just not really dialed in. Like I was saying, when people sit here and they say all these things, like you said, with like Brock Purdy, or in terms of Sam Darnold, right? You had Rap Sheet and all these people saying, "Oh, Sam's going to be the guy." Again, I just think it's an agenda from the media. That's what they think is going to happen. They don't know what's going on. Like I said, that was the perfect segue to saying, like Sam Darnold said today, is he doesn't even know the offense yet. He's still learning it. He's still figuring it out. So that's just Brock Purdy. I don't know if he's smoking the devil's lettuce or anything, but I just think, again, he's on the payroll, and whatever he's going to say is because he's getting a check from it. So that's the way I see it.
You guys, as fans, we got to be careful to not depend so much on others' opinions.
Yeah.
You want an opinion? Wait till Kyle gets in front of the media or a player gets in front of the media and they speak. If you're that indecisive about opinions, because everybody's got a YouTube channel nowadays. You guys know I was complaining about that about 2 months ago about everybody who used to be a media guy now has YouTube. They have ads they got to pay for. So everybody's pushing their agendas. Everybody's going to use their credentials as a badge of honor to push narratives. Do yourself a favor and just watch press conferences or interviews from players on the team. Let them tell you exactly what's going on. Stop listening to and listen. I love 95.7 The Game. I love Bonte. I love all those guys. I love Shasky. But like, there's takes and then there's facts. I'm entertained by podcasts just like you guys. I love Locked On 49ers. I love listening to Crocker and Peacock. But at the end of the day, until it comes from somebody within the organization that's like actually at the facility every single day and is actually part of the building of the roster and the player, I really don't put a lot of gravity in opinions anymore, because I've learned from getting either caught up in something, getting too excited about something, getting too angry about something, and then turns out it was never even a situation. So do yourself a favor as a fan.
You got to listen to what the players and the coach, that's it. Like people they'll listen to everybody else except the team, like which is crazy to me.
Yeah, it's insane. As a fan, as I've gotten older, I've learned to just not care about anything until, training camp starts, and then when it actually starts to matter, because it's so great. Everybody's going against air, no pass rush, nobody at their feet. Guys are woke. Receivers are wide open.
They look
Go ahead.
they look great.
Everybody looks great in shorts, except for me. I was going to say everybody looks great in shorts and a t-shirt. I do not. So that is, if you're an athlete, you got a nice body and you work out, you probably look incredible. But let's one of the things I wanted to talk about, of course, is the Purdy debate with Trey Lance. A lot of people are on one side of they're on one side of the argument or the other. They're either, Trey Lance has unjustly been, treated and he's going to be the guy, you just wait, and Brock Purdy is a scrub and he's not any good, or he's overhyped. You got the Purdy side of it where they think he's the second coming of some great quarterback. I'm in the middle. I love what he did last year. I thought he was incredible down the stretch. I thought he ran this offense and was as efficient as you could be. But in the back of my mind, I always thought, okay, we saw this from Jimmy, even though it was in a season where we weren't going to win anything. We were a losing team. We weren't going anywhere. Jimmy looked great. Everybody got hyped. All of us did. And if you didn't, if you say you didn't, you're lying. You know what I mean? Like everybody was like, wow, we got a quarterback, man. And then you start doing the pieces, you put the draft, you got free agents, you start doing everything that we do every offseason and we get excited. And then he played. And over the course of all these years, you realize he wasn't the guy. And we drafted Trey Lance and he's played 4 games and a lot of people are saying he isn't the guy. And then Brock Purdy comes in, he plays 8 games and he's the guy. It's just like, I don't know, man. The way I look at it is he was efficient doing what he needed to do with really good players around him. My test as a quarterback is quarterbacks who can elevate when their defense is in a top 10 defense. They don't have playmakers at every position around them, and they're able to use their athletic gifts, their God-given talent to elevate, instead of being in a situation where you got an all-pro receiver at 2 positions, an all-pro tight end, an all-pro fullback, an all-pro running back, an all-pro left tackle, 2 great linebackers, a great pass rush. I mean, it's like the Niners are so loaded. The great ones, and Mahomes is a great example of, like, he lost Tyreek Hill last year. They didn't miss a beat. He's the truth. The great ones are the truth. Tom Brady for some years didn't have really great receivers, and he still was incredible in the early 2000s. Joe Montana didn't have Jerry Rice until like their 5th or 6th year in the league. He did all right for himself. Like, the great ones are able to elevate what's around them, even when it's not a completely loaded team. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, we got to see the long version of this. I want to see Trey Lance with the same opportunity with the same players and see how he plays. If he struggles and looks bad, then yeah, maybe Brock Purdy is the dude. But Trey has all these physical traits that can elevate a team when they're not having their best day on defense, when they don't have all pros at every position. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, and that's what Trey said today, is he wants to come out and compete. He knows that this was Brock's team based on what he did. He said the same thing today that he said a couple months ago, when he was on the Rich Eisen show during the Super Bowl. So none of that stuff changes. I think we all want to see Trey get his fair chance. I'm not like pro one guy over the other. I think they're both quarterbacks for this team. I want to see this team win a Super Bowl, whether it's with Brock, whether it's Trey. I'm pro whoever there is. I know Brock Purdy did some great things last year. He came in and it was like, wow, this guy's a rookie. Holy crap. And if he can continue to build off that and he can recover from this injury, like we said earlier, rehab's not easy. It's one of those things where you don't know if he's going to have the same velocity. But if he can come back and pick up where he left off, he can do great things. But Trey Lance, we don't know. He's an X factor. We've said this many times every week. You've probably heard so many people say this. You don't know with Trey Lance. You really don't know what you're going to get. But I want him to come out there and have that opportunity, like you said. And I think he's getting that opportunity. I was live earlier and I said, look, he is getting it. He's coming out with Brock Purdy still rehabbing and recovering. And, he's still going to just start throwing next week. It's not like he's going to be throwing like 100 reps or whatever. He's just got to see how that elbow feels. And Trey Lance, like Kyle said, he has an opportunity to bridge the gap. He can continue to go out there and showcase, I'm your guy. This is why you drafted me at number 3. Like, he has to stay healthy, you know, and that's the other thing is, can Trey Lance come out there, stay healthy, and attack this and win everybody over? If he does, I think he has a golden opportunity ahead of him. Kyle's going to give him that. All 3 of these quarterbacks have a golden opportunity right now because there is no clear-cut starter because of Brock's injury. So that really opened the door. And again, they have such a good offensive skill set. You know, Trey hasn't played with CMC, you know. A lot of people say that, you know, I've said that. And the way CMC has kind of carried himself just today from all the reports, everybody's saying, like, holy crap, CMC is amazing. This guy practices so hard. This is the first.
They said he was practicing like full go in freaking.
Oh, it's like, what the hell? This is amazing. Like, you haven't seen a guy like this.
Some people like Jerry Rice, they only practice one way. Yeah. 100%.
100%. Go home or go big or go home. So at the end of the day, I think Trey is going to get that opportunity, and it's really up to Trey to go out there and earn that starting spot. It really is. If he goes out and he proves himself, and Kyle's like, you know what, Brock, you might be ready week 1. Like he said, only God knows. Only God knows. If Brock Purdy's kind of like teetering, then you know what? Guess what? Fuck that. Play Trey Lance and see what he has. And then if he tears it up, maybe he continues to stay. So at the end of the day, Trey Lance has such a golden opportunity, and I think they are giving him a chance. And again, as he said today, he's having fun. But this thing does get interesting once Brock starts throwing. I'm not going to lie to you. When I realize that he's going to be throwing and maybe potentially you have all 3 quarterbacks at training camp throwing, get your popcorn ready, Aaron. It's about to be fun.
Tony Culp, the better half of Brian Culp and company. She says, hey, Aaron, I believe that Kyle Shanahan says he has 2 QBs he can win with. If that's the case, it shouldn't matter who starts. I say both play them both and keep defenses guessing. See, I used to think that way, and I want to say I saw with Brian Hensley and that whole situation with Larry and that, like, his opinion, and I kind of side with him in the fact that, like, unless you have a quarterback that is elite level, it's hard to win a championship. Because we've proven that we've had this great defense all these times, and it literally hasn't got us to where we needed to be. It's gotten us in the dance, or it's gotten us close to the dance. But when you have a quarterback that what's the word I'm looking for? Transcends, he elevates the team. Where, like I said, you don't have to have the best players always around him. I think you need to have that one guy. You know, we had Joe Montana and Steve Young, but Steve Young wasn't ready for a while when Montana was the starter, even though he was brought in to take his job, essentially. And no, I'm not comparing the 2 of them, so don't even get all up in your feelings, everybody. But I feel like until the 49ers can settle who their quarterback is for the future, for the long term, when this team gets taken apart and they don't have the Fred Warners anymore, and then you know, Nick Bosa's aging, and Christian McCaffrey retires and Deebo Samuel goes to another team, can they have a quarterback who, through all that, is the constant, who can elevate? That's what I look at as, I don't know if Brock Purdy is that guy. I think he lacks the tools to be that guy. He has all the moxie, all the confidence. He has the ability to read the field quickly. When I see a guy like Trey Lance, I'm like, if Trey Lance can just get the freaking just like simple intermediate passing game, timing game down, where it's not, he can hit the 20-yard dig, but he can't hit a 5-yard crosser. Like, once those 2 things can come together, that's when you say, see, that's what we're talking about. That's the guy we're talking about. And that's what I think, if he can ever do that, this team's going to go another level. And if they still have some of these pieces that they have right now they're going to be really good. I'm not saying Brock Purdy can't. Go ahead.
No, I want to, sorry to interrupt. I want to say
something. Go ahead.
I agree. I think that just will come with the reps, because Trey hasn't had that opportunity, even dating back to college. But see, that's where Brock, he was able to do that as a rookie. He did those things and he did them well. But the other part of that I want to see from Trey, I need to see him have that aggressiveness. I want to see him be assertive, because he's kind of a nice guy. And I've seen him be such a humble, he's a nice guy. He doesn't want to step on anybody's toes. But right now, it's year 3. You're fighting for your job. Step on some toes. Step on some ankles. At this point, I kind of want to see him be a little bit more assertive. Like, I get it. I like how he says, you know, this is Brock's team. I want to compete. I get it. He's being PC, but I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive because Brock came in and he was a leader. He was a dog in that clubhouse. He took leadership over, cussing at Trent Williams because, listen, everybody knows the story with Jimmy Garoppolo. The team loved him. Whether you liked him or not, the clubhouse loved Jimmy Garoppolo. And at the end of that season, they loved Brock Purdy. He won that locker room. Trey Lance needs to come out swinging and win that locker room over. No matter what, by any means necessary, he needs to come out and win. And that's where I want to see him. I think I need to see him more aggressive, and things will get. I think the other things that you said, the small nuances, reading the defense, and et cetera, those are things every quarterback has to learn. And it takes time. And as you get more reps, because Patrick Mahomes, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm comparing him to Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying what he said is he didn't learn how to read a defense his first year. He came out and he was just trying to get himself established out there and show, hey, I can win games. I can be able to run this offense. And then as he got more experience, those things kind of slowed. The game slows down for you. And even Peyton Manning, he says, when he first came into the league, he wasn't sitting there reading these defenses.
Look how good Peyton Manning was.
Yeah.
Remember his first year, he threw almost 30 picks.
Yeah, he was terrible.
You'd see flashes. There was a game, I think, that they played against us when Steve Young was there. We're like, whoa, okay, I see it. Marvin Harrison, I think Marshall Faulk was on the team. But then he would show that he was inexperienced and he could be fooled and he would make mistakes. My thing is that, and Joe E says, how many seasons do you think we have until a Super Bowl winner close? 2, 3, max?
3.
It can always be lengthened if you have an incredible quarterback that can carry a team, essentially, because the great ones can carry a team, or at least take a heavy burden of the responsibility. I forgot where I saw this interview, but it was when the Chiefs first drafted Mahomes and they were in practice and one of his teammates thought he was trash. They're like, this is the dude we drafted. I forgot where I saw this from. And we could see, I can see why he thought that, because if you watch Mahomes, he's not traditional. He is a gunslinger. He can play traditional, but he's better when he plays outside the confines of the offense. That's what the Niners drafted Trey Lance for. They want a guy who can sit in the pocket, but they also want a guy who can, on the run, throw a 45-yard strike on a line to a crossing receiver over the middle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't coach physical talent. I mean, you can coach physical talent, but you can't coach it to happen. Like you either have the God-given gifts or you don't. Like, I'm a big, tall guy, but I ain't pretty. There's little short guys that are beautiful. So like it's you take the things that you were given and you go and you make the best out of them. So my whole thing is, until they find the guy and they settle on the guy, they'll always be really, really good with a really good squad who's always competitive. But anytime you see them go up against like a Kansas City or the Eagles, they got their quarterback. Chiefs got their quarterback. The Bills got their quarterback. The Bengals got their quarterback. They're the guy.
Yeah.
You can watch games where it's 45-35, but Joe Burrow threw like 7-8 touchdowns, and it's just like he was the reason, right? It wasn't the defense. Go ahead.
We've been searching for that. Like, that's why every freaking offseason we're sitting here talking quarterback, because we haven't found the franchise. We thought we did, and then the injuries pile up, and then we literally have been searching for a franchise quarterback for just years and years. And I think a lot of the reason is the Niners got spoiled early in the way back in the days, with Steve Young, Joe Montana. They would standard.
They sure were.
They were such good quarterbacks. And then, Steve got the concussion and he had to retire and everything. And Jeff Garcia wasn't bad, man. He was good. He was the last Pro Bowl quarterback. And then after that, tensions, the front office, you lose some, mooch, and it just was like a down tier from there, a downward spiral. We had just years of bad quarterback, bad, no coaches. Alex Smith, and he probably could have been better if they had better, a front office and coaching staff. It took them.
We had Mike Singletary mooning players, just like, what are you doing, dude?
It was a whole it was a debacle quarterback, and then you had Cap, and then that just spiraled out, and he got.
And we all fell for the Cap thing too.
Just years of quarterback searching. So at the end of the day, I think this fan base is just so tired of it, and they want to figure out who the hell's your franchise quarterback. Let me know. And Kyle still doesn't. He doesn't know himself, like he said today. Only God knows. Only God knows, Aaron. Only God knows.
Hey, Rocky said it. Only God ain't wrong.
Hey,
Rocky, only God ain't wrong.
I don't know what's gonna happen because only God knows.
That's right. Only God does know. He knows a lot of things. If you believe in him, of course. If you're atheist, then forget it.
I thought of that Kid Rock song today. I was like, and only God. You remember that Kid Rock song? Only God knows. What do you remember? Do you remember Kid Rock?
I like Kid Rock somewhat, but I don't remember the song. Probably if I heard it, I would know.
It was like a banging. That's the first thing that came in my mind. I was like, okay. I started singing the song. I was like, Kyle. He got me thinking. That's the only thing I could think of today when I saw that, when I heard it. So I was like, but you know what? End of the day, let them battle. Let them go out there. It's good that they're back. Now, again, Brock will start throwing next week. The good news is, I want to kind of segue. The good news is, yesterday they changed the rule because of the 49ers.
That is exactly what I was going to go to next. Go ahead.
Quarterbacks can be active on game day. You can play them as long as there's an injury. So
you can't just bench two guys and be like, hey, can we put our number 3 in the game?
Yeah, you can't say, okay, this guy sucks. Okay, this guy sucks. Okay, come in. Let's win this game. You can't do that. But if they get hurt and you're down to your third quarterback, you can play him, and he doesn't count as a roster.
And it doesn't count against a roster spot. I call it the Brock Purdy rule.
100%. It is the
Everyone's like, no, it's not the Brock Purdy rule. Yeah, it is.
It is the Brock Purdy rule.
It happened because someone's like, well, it didn't happen that year that the Bears had that injury and McNown had to come in with a torn hamstring. And like, listen, man, it's the Bears. We're the 49ers.
Run the game. The 49ers changed the league. We changed the league.
We got 5 trophies in the case. They might have dust on them because they're 30 years old, but they still matter. Raymond and Emily Jones, he says, I live in KC, and fans talked about Pat like they do Trey in San Francisco until we saw him in camp his second year.
Wow.
I've seen, and Raymond, I know exactly what you're talking about. Thank you for the comment. I saw a clip. I don't know who it is, but he essentially said that he looked like dog water in camp, like he sucked. And
a lot of people thought he was bad.
We had Alex Smith, and we all know Alex Smith is a limited quarterback. You think Brock Purdy's limited? Alex Smith is even more limited, and he had baby hands. So he had, the Whopper commercial where the guy's trying to hold it and his hands are too small. Like that's what we had at quarterback, essentially. Joe E says, I have a feeling Trey takes a third-year jump like Hurts and Allen. Imagine if Purdy becomes a Breeze or early career Russ Wilson would be a good problem to have. Absolutely. But then again, I say, yes, it's a good problem to have, but I'd rather have one great quarterback that is top 10 in the league.
Then you can trade the other guy. But at the end of the day,
you can't have 2 mediocre to above average quarterbacks. Just doesn't work.
No.
Baby.
Yeah, no, you got to have an elite quarterback in this league. In the league,
it's proven that you have to have one to win a Super Bowl. It just,
especially in this era, the way that the NFL is run, it's offensive heavy. You can have great defense that can win many games for you and carry you at some point. But at some point, your defense needs help on offense. They need help. You got to score some points. Because look at us, man. They got so damn tired when the playoffs came. That defense was gassed out, man. They were tired.
Nick Bosa in that NFC Championship game looked like he ran a freaking 5K full speed. He was so good. And then he got his calf stepped on, and then, of course, the quarterback.
Yeah.
We need, 49ers, and this isn't one of my topics, 49ers need the 1 seed this year. Gotta have the 1 seed.
Absolutely. They need that 1 seed.
You gotta have some rest. This team with rest is scary because Kyle Shanahan is one of those coordinators with a lot of time. He's actually better. Some guys are worse with time. Some guys are better. Or if the 2 weeks, if we would have had a great quarterback going in that Super Bowl with the Chiefs, that 2 weeks would have been incredible. But you only could do so much when you have a bus driver driving a Ferrari. Like that's what, Jimmy Garoppolo was. He couldn't handle the speed of the big fast car. One of the things that was brought out, that was brought to the attention, at least to me, since the last time he streamed, was just all the health issues that Trey Lance had.
Yeah.
That have supposedly hampered his progress. The finger turned into a broken finger where he had to relearn his grip. And then his bad throwing mechanics caused his arm fatigue. So it was like, I feel like like you said, this is the first off season we've had him where he doesn't have like an ongoing excuse unless, we find out something next year. Cause it seems like Kyle has, I'm not saying built in excuses, but it does seem like there's just a lot of like, yeah, well, there's this going on. And then he broke his toe falling down the stairs. Like it's constant. Like, what do you make of all that health stuff? Do you think it's just like maybe like the bumps in the road early on and we're going to, won't matter in 10 years? Or are you worried this is always going to be something with him where he's always going to have some sort of like fallback injury that was causing him to play poorly? What do you take on that?
So yeah, there's that was one of the issues with Jimmy, right? Was can he stay healthy? And right now, Trey Lance has to shed that image because a lot of people say he's an injury prone guy. And there's been a lot of quarterbacks, not just quarterbacks, but players in the NFL that have had that label, right? And you got to break through, you got to shed it because sometimes if that's your thing, you got to prove that you can get through a season and be healthy and continue to go. There's not just in NFL, in any sports, there's been many athletes that early in their career they've been hampered by injuries and it kind of limited them, it stunted their growth. So absolutely, Trey Lance has to kind of shed this label. Nick Bosa coming into the NFL. I remember the big cons, the big question marks, the big detractors, the people that says Nick Bosa wasn't worth drafting the high was because I got injury history, ACL, hamstring. He's a big muscular guy. He's gonna get hurt. And
yeah, draft Quinnen Williams instead.
He shed the label, and there's going to be a stigma with any athlete that has a history of injuries. It's just going to carry them. So because Trey Lance had that opportunity last year and then his season was squandered away because of the injury, because the year before, definitely he had the finger injury. And Kyle said that really limited what he wanted him to do that year. So again, he kind of missed his rookie season because of that injury. He had a hamstring injury that year. And then last year, again, we know the broken bone in the foot. So I think, right now, Trey Lance has a lot to prove because he has had injuries over the last, couple years since he's been in the league. This is year 3, clean slate. He looks like he's finally, healthy and coming in a good, in a good situation. And again, he's going to get that opportunity, which Kyle said. And at the end of the day, man, this is his golden opportunity, like I mentioned earlier. So, Trey Lance definitely is going to have that stigma follow him until he can break it, until he can play a full season and say, hey, look, boom, look, man, I went through the season.
Yep.
Shut up. Let's roll, baby. So, 100%.
He'll stop being injury prone when he stops getting injured all the time.
Yeah.
Because some players could be talked. They could play 10 years. He could play another 10 to 14 years, and they'll say, well, man, his first couple of years, he couldn't get on the field because of injuries. But then he'll shed that because he'll be always playing. That happens with other athletes too that just have like hampered injuries. Maybe they come into the league with a bad hamstring or. The problem I have is when you draft the guy, say like a D Ford, who's got really bad back problems and knee problems, and you draft them anyways, and then you're surprised you get 7 games out of him every year. And then you get 1 year where he plays the whole season and you fall for it. And then you give him a big contract and he goes right back to being the guy that he was the previous 3-4 years. So it's like,
but I think, Aaron, that's the risk you take in sports when you pay these. That's why a lot of times people don't want to pay certain players, or that's why players are fighting for guaranteed money. And it definitely is a big question with any player. No matter who. You could be the best player in the league, but teams, when they're looking into contracts, they have to see if it's going to be worth their while. Because if they're paying you and you get hurt, holy crap, that screws everything. Nobody wants to get hurt, but the players and the team have to be like, they got to trust you. And if you're a reckless player that just throws yourself out around, they may say, hey, I don't know. That's why there's like built-in, guarantees on contracts. You can't go
accelerators and stuff like, if you make this many games, we'll pay you this, but you have to make it.
Yeah.
That's why with guys that have injury issues, you should always put things in their contract that say like, hey, if you can play like 2 games, if you can play like at least 12 to 14 games this season, you get like a $500,000 bonus or like $1 million bonus. But like you have to be able to do that. My thing is, it's funny that we talk about injury prone. My own family, my brother-in-law, my sister, and my brother, because I have a physical job, they're like, "Do you sure you want to keep doing a job like that? Aren't you? You're a little old for that." They're like, why don't you get into something that's less physical? You are, quite injury prone. I'm like,
Oh
I
God.
am injury prone now. Bro, when I was a young man in my 20s, I never got hurt. And if I did get hurt, I'd bounce right back. I used to work in a warehouse, climbing shelves, grabbing stuff illegally. You're not supposed to climb the shelves. You're supposed to use lifts and
Hmm.
ladders and stairs. And I was like a monkey. And now I'm so big and heavy and stiff that like I get hurt all the time because I'm like unflexible. I know you as a personal trainer, especially for some injuries, especially post operation on like shoulders, it's all about loosening up you know, that cartilage or whatever to get loose. Because sometimes when you are tight and you're like wound, you end up getting injured again because of just how inflexible you are. So like if a guy's coming into the league with that, if he's a 40 something year old man like me, it's one thing. But if you're like a young 20 or something year old, you got all these like pre existing injuries. I don't know. But like you said, it's the risk you take. You have to draft guys sometimes, and maybe they'll be able to shed it. And Bosa so far, other than his really bad knee injury, has been pretty much good as gold. I mean, 18 and a half damn sacks last year on a pass rush,
Well,
on a
well,
D line that didn't get any pressure besides him.
yeah. Let's talk about CMC. That's another guy. Remember, so many people were crying their fucking eyes out. Pardon my language.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Traded for him because it's the CMC and Kyle's off injury. He was the reason we won those games. He was the reason we won last year. He was the big spark plug on our offense. And without Christian McCaffrey, I don't know where we would have been last year. He's the accelerator of that offense.
Christian
He
McCaffrey was something
changed,
else.
and everybody cried, "Oh, he was injury prone. Don't trade him." I remember before I was banging on the table, trade for CMC, trade for CMC. People said, "You're stupid, Raj." At the end of the season, he said the other day, last week, he said that was the best thing that ever
He ever
happened.
made. Yep.
Best thing that ever happened to me. And all the fans were like gushing, "Oh my God, we love you, CMC." Those same fans
Yeah, they were
a
crying.
year ago, crying.
Yeah, they're all buying his jersey this year.
They all got the number 23 jersey because
Yeah.
he's the man, Aaron. But do you see how that works? It's just, I'm telling you, man, it just sheds the label, and that's what can happen to Trey. If he goes out there and he balls out and he wins games, and he goes out there and he looks like the sexy Ferrari, people are going to say, "Oh my God, Trey area." That's how it works in sports. People are fickle. They change their tune. They. That's how sports works, man.
They'll
Bandwagon.
go back and say, well, he was in his early part of his career, and then he finally shook that and became, the guy. And then, imagine if the Niners had given up on him and went with Brock Purdy instead. Like that's where we're at right now, and it's cool. And I hope that they make the right choice, and I hope that the Niners win a Super Bowl within the next, I don't know, 3 years, especially with the Super Bowl coming to the stadium in 2026. I would love to have the Niners have home field advantage and win, just like never. They come to Santa Clara in the end of December and never leave. They just stay. They get to stay in their own bed. That would be the ultimate fantasy.
God, can you imagine? It would
If
be.
we lost that too, it'd be like the biggest friggin' choke job ever. So like that's the other
Right.
pressure.
You can't lose a home Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? If they make it to the Super Bowl in Levi's, you better not lose it. You better definitely not lose it. But I hope so. I'm 8 minutes away from Levi's Stadium. I hope to God that they make it that year because I will be there. And they're going to have the World Cup that year. That is going to be a prime year out here in Santa Clara. I can't wait for that
That
year.
would be incredible.
World Cup, and I'm going to be at the Super Bowl. No matter who goes to the Super Bowl, I'm going to be there, and then I'm going to go to the World Cup. I better start saving money now, but it's going to be a freaking fantastic year, 2026. A couple things. I got to bounce in 10 minutes, but I wanted to talk to you about Nick Bosa. You said you wanted to mention this. We spoke about him today. There's been some people kind of throwing a lot of people asking, when's Nick Bosa going to get it? When's Nick Bosa's contract coming up? You know how they do it. Training camp, basically the day before training camp starts or the day of, he'll get signed. I don't think there's any worry. I know they're on like the preliminary stages of the contract and everything's kind of early stages. But just like the 49ers did with Debo, Fred Warner, George Kittle, I think Nick Bosa is going to get his contract right the day before training camp. Then we're getting breaking news, and it's going to be glorious day. And then, boom, the next day you're going to see Nick Bosa. He's here, training camp, fresh off his big contract, and he's going to be the highest paid pass rusher in the league.
I kind of had the same thing. There was a report that said will he show up or he hasn't shown up or something. I don't know if it was of a reliable source. Real quick, No Border Sports, $2 super. He says main card commentary right here. Appreciate that.
All right. So real quick, so that Nick Bosa not being there. So first off, they're involuntary. You know, these players don't have to go, or they're basically voluntary. They don't have to go there, right? These players don't have to go to minicamp or sorry, OTAs. But the thing with Bosa is he's so like regimen. He always does his own thing in Florida. He has his own.
Him and his brother. Yep.
His brother and his dad, like they go out there. So he's not going to be. We know he's not going to be.
I don't care as long as he's here for training camp.
As long as he's here for training camp, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get his bag when the time. Day before training camp, boom! Breaking news: Nick Bosa his sign, and then there's going to be videos posted. Shanahan and Nick Bosa, you know, shaking the hands, and then Kyle or John Lynch and Nick Bosa.
Big feather.
Yeah, Quill Pen official.
Quill Pen, yep. What's up, Mariah? Thank you for coming through real quick. Appreciate it. Jimmy Perez, thank you for coming through. David Villa, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through. Appreciate it. I'm trying to think what else here. We kind of like interlocked topics, and we've kind of covered a lot of stuff. You attended a softball game the other day. Any news you want?
Yeah, so let me talk about it. So this weekend, 49ers versus the San Jose Police Department, Excite Ballpark. It's a minor league ballpark for the Giants. So it was basically charity dodgeball / home run derby. You know, it was the first annual. It's hosted by Shoe Palace. The boys from Residency were there. I saw them.
Nice.
Gold Bar Whiskey. Basically, the people that sponsored me, they were there. I met up with them. A lot of cool people that, you know, cover the team. I met a lot of people. I met a lot of players. Because I knew some of the people that were working the event, I got to go in VIP access and talk to the players. I saw Trey, Brock Purdy. They didn't play, but they were there to, you know, be a face of the team and sign autographs. Talanoa Funga, he was there signing, man, nice as can be. He looked jacked. He's been hitting the weights. Spencer Burford, he looks like he's really just put on a lot of muscle. He looks slimmed down. He looks like a Trent Williams in the making. He looked happy to be there. He told me, man, he's ready to compete. He doesn't want to. I told him, I said, yo, year 2. He goes, year 2 is going to be banging, Raj. Tabor Pepper. There was a lot of younger players there. Marcelino, Jordan Mason. I saw Mitch Wishnowski. Like, there was a lot of players there. Nick Zakel, Drake Jackson. He looks like he slimmed down. Javon Kinlaw, the man's lean, but, you know, it was cool. I saw a lot of players. They were very interactive. One thing about Trey Lance, he's so nice. He made sure he shook every kid's hand that went up to him. He signed every autograph. He didn't leave no kid, you know, behind. I mean, the guy was amazing. And Brock Purdy was signing autographs. My first thing as a PT, I saw Brock with, you know, the right arm. He was signing, and I was like, ooh, good motor planning, good motor coordination on that arm. I was like, that takes a lot, especially coming off you know, a torn ligament.
Yeah, usually they have you picking up like little glass marbles and stuff to
He had a tight grip. I was like, oh, he's
right.
He was in my mind. It's so funny because when today the report comes out of he's gonna be throwing next week, in my mind I was like, well, he looks like he's ready to throw a ball. Like in my mind, that's what was going through. And then when they made that announcement today, I was like,
that's that PT background.
Yeah,
you can't escape it.
I knew it. I was like, oh, he's gonna be throwing soon. And then boom, today I was like, yeah, I called it. So, but
yeah, man, dude, that's awesome, man.
Fun.
I just want one time to be able to go to like.
It's so fun to live out here and knowing a lot of the people that cover the team and because I know the guy that runs Shoe Palace. It was kind of last minute because I wasn't gonna go. I didn't have my daughter this week. She's with her mom. So I was like, I don't really know. And then my buddy that runs 49ers Tailgate, he's like really plugged in with a lot of these people. And they hit me up in Shoe Palace. Hey, come out, man. We'll hook you up. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I had nothing else to do. So it was my day off and I came out and then you know, it was cool. I was interacting with them and it was a fun time, man. So to me, it was more for like networking, you know, getting to meet people. You never know.
Absolutely, dude. We talked about that before about, you know, you learn, you know, someone might ask you to do something on you for Instagram and then, you know, vice versa. It's like a mutual helping of each other. That's awesome, dude. Yeah. And listen, I'm the type of person, like if I had the chance, maybe if I could boost my own channel, like I would pay to like, not expose myself. That's not the word I want to go with. Give myself exposure and kind of let people know who I was. I mean, sometimes you have to do it organically.
You got to market yourself.
Yeah. But like, hi, I'm Aaron, or I'm so-and-so from, you know, RSF 49ers or 49ers First Days podcast. And then that's awesome, dude. That I'm glad. I hope that coming into this season and this off season that that really takes off for you, because I know we talk all the time about what you aspire to do and be, and I think you're great. I think you have a really easy personality to like. Some people are like really douchey. No offense, but there's some people that do media that are really like condescending douchey, where they come off like, I really know more than you. And then there's people like Raj that are just like a dude you sit next to at a wing bar having a beer, watching a game with, and like he has that kind of, you have that kind of conversational quality.
Yeah.
That's what I like. I asked you to do the one, like when we did the schedule release the other day. I can't believe I got you, and like that to me was like, I kind of look up to you guys. So, but you make it easy to talk to you. So, but like I hope that all goes well for you down the line.
I appreciate you. Nice. Thanks for the kind words. And that's just who I am. I don't want to. I'm a nice guy. I want to come out here and like you said earlier, is I cover this team. I follow this team because I love them, and everything else has been a bonus. I've been doing this content game for a long time. I've been doing it before a lot of people actually been doing it, and at the same time I have a 9 to 5, so it's tough for me. I got to pay bills. I wish I lived in a cheaper state. If I lived in like Texas or Nevada or something, I'd work part-time and I could probably manage to sit around and do more content. But out here in California, it ain't the case, man. You gotta have like 2 jobs.
You gotta own a house with like 10 other people, and then you could go for your dreams, because then you could pay like a quarter of the mortgage.
Yeah, if you're a single man like me and you're living in the Bay, you gotta have 2 jobs, or you have to have a very lucrative job. And I work at a clinic and I do home health, so it's like both of those pay good, but after taxes, you lose half your fucking money, man.
Yeah. Listen, I pay into a 401k, and I'm paying back a loan that I took out for my 401k. Yeah. And as soon as I pay back that loan, I got to take out another loan because I got to do my kitchen in my house.
Yeah, there's no money left after.
Because I don't have $30,000 that I can take out and be like, hey, I'm gonna do my kitchen 25, 20. I'm not rich, so like you got to figure out ways. You got to be creative. Real quick, anything you got going on the channel this week or on Instagram or?
No, I'm just gonna.
You were on tonight for a while, I saw.
Yeah. I finally came back. I just been, like I said, I just been busy trying to balance, work life and everything. Hopefully I'll be more. Hopefully I'll be busier like I used to be. But the thing is, man, like I said, I just started my new home health business, so it's been taking a lot of my time because I had to do like training and shadow visits, and now I'm kind of on my own. So now I can kind of make my own schedule around the time I'm at the clinic. So it's just a matter of balancing things out, how many hours I need to work and stuff. So it's going to be summer, so it'll be a little bit easier because my daughter doesn't have to go to school, so it'll be a little bit easier for me to have more time. But honestly, I'm going to enjoy the off season, man. I got Disneyland coming up.
Nice.
And, we'll try to do a few more trips, but I'm just going to be working a lot this off season, the rest of the time.
I'm going back to work on Monday, so the channel might take a little bit of a dip as far as like, I'll probably do my streams. Might have, but that's it. Like, I'm not doing anything extra. I have tomorrow, I think I'm on with Ryan Hensley. I think it's gonna be his channel. He's a busy guy. I asked him, he's like, whose channel? I'm like, you want to go on yours? Because I told him, I says, I have like 4 other streams this week, so if I don't have to do all the prep work.
Boy, going on with Ryan, I can't. Woo, let's go.
Yeah, he doesn't want it. I got to figure out how to get a little bit more about this Brock Purdy Trey Lance thing out of him, even though he doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
You're going to talk about it.
I might take just a little bit from him, but I have that show tomorrow. I forget what time. I think it might be 2 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Then I'm on with Ted Talks Ball, or First and Ted at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And then I think Saturday I'm going to have Jason Hurley on. We'll be talking all the salary cap stuff, all the players that have been signed, right. Undrafted free agents, Nick Bosa contract. And that'll be a full week. And then guys, I'm back to work Monday, and I'm only working 4 days next week because it's a holiday week. So I work Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I have Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. So I get to rest my fat ass body.
I work every day except Sunday, baby. So, but
gotta make that bread.
Bread.
Thank you, Laura. She says, excited for you. Be careful. She said she's a teacher in the Bay Area, She hit the Bay Area, so she said it's expensive. That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that you're a teacher. I'm glad because I think teachers are the
important.
back. They're the backbone to this world and the future of the children and all that stuff. But at the same time, money on the West Coast just don't go as far as on the East Coast. Not that it goes far here either.
It don't stretch. Like you tell people you make 6 figures out in the Bay, it's honestly not that much. Like making,
you're like, that's it.
like making 100K out here is like making. Honestly, it's like making like 65, 70K. You're really not making much. Honestly, you're not.
Yeah, because it's the cost of living.
Yeah.
Just like if you go and say, oh, that movie only made $300 million in 1977, and then you come into the modern day and it's like it made like 1.5 billion billion. And it's just like everything, it all evens out. So
yeah,
thanks for coming on, Raj. I'll let you go. Everybody, thanks for coming through in the chat. I know, you got the big hitters on. So for everybody that did actually come into my chat and Raj's chat, we appreciate it. We'll see. I mean, I would assume we're gonna try to do something next week if you're able. If you're not,
as long as I'm able to, I'll let you know.
Yep.
Real quick, shout out to your boy Sterling. Bro was out there killing the content today.
I heard. Yeah. I saw it. I was bothering him a couple of weeks ago about trying to do something regular with him, and now I see why he hasn't been responding. This man he's bumping and grinding on his own deal. He's building his brand. So props to Sterling.
I love it, man. So I got to hit him up and be like, hey, how are you getting? Because does he work for 957 The Game?
Yeah, he works the board, making sure all the guests are able to be heard and taking calls. And he did the post game, worked the board on the post game for the Warriors.
So he's got me because he works for 957 The Game.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, my man. Listen, hey, you earned it. So good for guys like you and him and even other guys like Brad and all the people that, Jason Aponte, anybody that can get into camp and mingle with the players. I ain't hating. Yeah. I'm jealous, but I ain't hating.
Maybe I might get a third job this summer, Aaron. I'm going to be working for 957 The Game. Let's see.
There you go. And then you can bring Aaron out and he can get a press pass and then he'll finally get his ugly face known by some 49er players. Yeah. No, I'm just playing. Well, actually, I'm not playing, but whatever. All right, guys. We'll take off here. Everybody have a great evening and we'll talk to you later. See ya.